Success is earned one single day at a time, one step at a time. In the midst of a day, one single step through your day at a time, one decision at a time, all those little ones along the way, one phone call at a time. One phone call could be transformational. One single meeting, that meeting you didn't want to go to, but you decide to go to anyway. So here's what it's all about. Between where you're at right now and your goal stands this operating system. And it doesn't matter what your goal is. It could be to build a fantastic business. It could be to buy a new car, send your children to university, retire your parents. It doesn't matter. But between you and the goal is this operating system. So what I want to do is to give you the lines of code that you need to rewire your own operating system with that will enable you to get to the other side. There's only one thing. If you asked me to boil down the principles of success into one thing, what is the one control factor for every outcome of your life? What's the one thing that determines whether you end up living here or whether you end up living here? One thing would determine whether you end up driving this or whether you end up driving this. What's that one thing? The one thing that determines whether at the end of 50, 60 years you end up broke, despondent, alone, bitter, and divorced, or whether you end up with a marriage of magic and great intimacy and connection. There's only one thing that determines whether you get to send your children to the greatest universities in the world, or no matter what they qualified for and earn their way into, they can't go because you can't afford it. Only one thing determines whether your parents at the end of their life run out of money, now they're desperate, or whether you can hand them the keys, pay off their mortgage, and retire them comfortably. Only one thing determines whether you get to contribute to the charity of your choice to your greatest heart's extent, travel the world in great luxury. As Curly said, just the one thing. So what is it? If we're to boil down all the principles of success, all the outcomes in your life right now, what's the one thing? Choices. Right now, you sit there in that chair as the accumulated effect of all the choices you've made up till now. You have made a series of choices, and all those choices have added up right now to your waistline, right now to your wallet, right now to the intimacy or lack thereof of the relationships in your life. You are nothing but the accumulated, compounded effect of all the choices you've made since you were born to where you're at right now. So the first line of code, if we're going to change the trajectory of your life, we're going to send you in a stratosphere you didn't even imagine possible before. We have to go right down to below the atom level, to the nucleus, and that are your choices. So then you might ask, what choices? Because we're constantly faced with choices. Is it the big life choices? Where do I go to college? Who do I marry? What job do I take? What career track? That's what a lot of people think, that their life is an outcome of all of these sort of like big, defining moment choices. Well, how many people here have ever been bitten by an elephant? How many people have been bitten by a mosquito? You see, nature provides clues, right? It's the little things in life that will bite you. So I'm asked often, there are 7 billion people on the planet. We only get to choose 12 people to appear on the cover of Success magazine. 12 out of 7 billion. So then the question becomes, what did these people do to create those extraordinary results? What did they do? Because if you could figure out what they did, you could do the same, and you too could find yourself 12 of 7 billion people on the planet. So let me tell you, there are myths about what people believe that these people did to get on the cover of Success magazine. Let me clear the myths out first. Success is not a result of heroic feats. These people did not do anything heroic by comparison to anybody else. They are also not a result of grand acts of bravery. Do not leap and learn to fly on the way down. That doesn't work out very well. I'm not a believer of leap and the net will appear. No. It does not require grand acts of bravery to end up to become extraordinarily successful. Success, however, is a result of small, seemingly insignificant, moment-to-moment choices. So let me present you with small choices like, at lunch, do you order the hamburger and fries, or do you order the salad? It doesn't look like a life-altering choice. Small choices like, at the end of a hard day's work, do you stop by the gym and put in a few crunches, or do you rush home to catch Dancing with the Stars or American Idol, or watch other people living out their dreams? Small little choices like in a networking event, there's somebody you want to meet, but you're a little intimidated to do so. Do you walk across and introduce yourself anyway, or do you hunker down and not do so? Small little choices like at the end of a day, do you put in a few more phone calls, or do you just call it a day? All these small little choices that accumulate out throughout the day. These small choices add up to big results. Those people you see on the cover of Success Magazine were just more disciplined and consistent with all those little tiny choices all along the way, and then it added up to gargantuan results. Let me prove it to you. If I gave you the option of a penny, a single penny that doubles every day for 31 days, or $1 million in cash right now, how many people would pick the $1 million in cash? Let's say, since we're talking about small choices, which was a clue, you picked a penny. Let's see how this works out mathematically. You have the penny. At the end of 5 days, your penny's worth 16 cents, and your buddy's got $3 million partying like a rock star. You're not feeling very good about your choice thus far. Now we go to day 10, and your penny has added up to something less than a Happy Meal at McDonald's, and their champagne and caviar jetting around the world with their $3 million in cash. Day 20, your penny's turned into $5,242. They got $3 million in cash, laughing all the way to the bank. However, on day 31, your single penny, doubling every day, is turned into $10,737,000. Math between day 1 and day 2 is exactly the same math between day 30 and day 31. It is the same increment of choice improvement. This is the reason why Einstein called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. Because all of a sudden it looks like these gargantuan results come from seemingly out of nowhere. But it is just the accumulated compound effect of math, or in success principles language, consistency of discipline compounding and making its results visible. So why, if it's so easy, if it seems so easy to make positive choices, why do people continue to make poor choices? There are 4 traps that we face, and I want to give you these traps because you will be faced with these exact traps that will keep you from being able to stay on a course of making positive choices. So here they are. Number 1, while you are making positive choices or poor choices, the results are invisible, so it's easy to get faked out. You think that the choices you're making right now don't matter. Here's trap number 2. Along the way, it's subtle and deceptive. The compound effect can be subtle and deceptive. Here's what it's like. Imagine you were taking a trip from Los Angeles airport to LaGuardia, New York. And while the plane is on the tarmac, it's pointed directly at LaGuardia, directly. If the nose of that plane is off only 1 degree from here to here, can you see the difference? By the time it gets to its destination, it'll be 150 miles off course. This is how it happens, people. 10 years down the road, and you get here and you go, how did I get divorced? How did my house end up in foreclosure? You could have just been 1 degree off. That's all. And you're 150 miles off course from your goal, from your dreams, from your aspirations. Here's the 3rd trap, immediate gratification. As a society, as a culture, we have become addicted to immediate gratification. We want what we want, when we want it, and we want it now. And it's become our cultural meme, this impatience. I want to be gratified, pleasured now. And there's no ability to delay gratification. Here's the last trap, number 4. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. So it's easy to eat an apple a day to keep the doctor away. We've heard that all our lives. It's easy to walk around the block for your good health. It's easy to pick a moment once or twice throughout the day to show some affection or some appreciation. It's easy to pick up the phone and call people. It's easy to write thank you letters. It's easy to drink 8 glasses of water a day. All those things are ridiculously easy, but what's the problem? They're also easy not to do.